up, Carmel kids? Miss Kaylee here, and I am so excited to share that we're in a brand new unit today. We were in Unit 7 for the last 3 weeks, learning about Joshua and how God chose Joshua to lead the Israelites past the Jordan River into the Promised Land and all that fun stuff. But today, we're starting a new unit. We're in Unit 8, Session 1 today, and we're going to continue talking about Joshua and him as the leader of the Israelites. But we're going to be talking about miracles. That's going to be the theme for the next 5 weeks is, what is a miracle? And we're going to answer that question throughout our time together. But we're in Joshua 2 and Joshua 6 today. And this is where we learn that the Israelites made it to the Promised Land. They're in Canaan, woohoo. And then they're met with a challenge. There's people living there. They can't just pitch their tents and live there. They have to defeat these people. They have to defeat their enemy. And we learn that God performs an amazing miracle to make this happen. And you're going to learn about that today. And I can't wait for that. So enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Megan.
And I'm Jessie. Megan, look what I made.
Whoa, what a cool thing, Jessie.
Thanks. It's a sun catcher. I painted it. I'm gonna put it in my window.
Oh, cool. You know, when the sun comes through your window, your sun catcher will light up and maybe even reflect cool lights around your room.
Wow, awesome.
In today's Bible story, a woman named Rahab tied a bright red rope in her window.
Why did she do that? A rope won't light up in the sun, will it?
No, she did it so the Israelites would know where she lived. Let me tell you the story. The Israelites finally got to the Promised Land, but there was one problem. Other people were living there. God's people couldn't just walk in and set up their tents. They had to go to battle against the people, and they had to win. Before God's people went into the land, Joshua sent 2 spies into the city of Jericho. The spies stayed at the house of a woman named Rahab. Rahab had heard about God and wanted to help his people. She hid the 2 spies on her roof so the king of Jericho could not find them. Before the spies left, Rahab told them, "Please be kind to my family because I have been kind to you. When you attack Jericho, please keep us safe." The spies agreed and they left Jericho. Rahab tied a bright red rope in her window so the Israelites would know where she lived. Next, when the Israelites arrived, God told Joshua how to take over Jericho. The city was protected by strong walls. God said, "March around the city 1 time every day for 6 days." God said, "On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. The priests should blow the trumpets and all the people should shout. Then the walls of Jericho will fall down." Joshua obeyed God. The Israelites marched around the city 1 time without talking. They did this every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, the Israelites got up early and marched around the city 7 times. When the priests blew their trumpets, Joshua said, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." So the people shouted and the wall fell down. The Israelites went into the city and captured it. They kept Rahab and her family safe, and Rahab and her family lived with the Israelites from that day on. By faith, Rahab believed God would win the battle. The Israelites kept Rahab and her family safe, and she joined God's people. Jesus has won against sin and death. Everyone who trusts in Jesus is safe and becomes part of God's family forever.
The Israelites finally arrived in the promised land of Canaan, but there was one problem. Other people were living there. God's people couldn't just walk in and set up their tents. They had to go to battle against their enemies, and they had to win. Joshua sent 2 spies into the city of Jericho to see what it was like. The spies stayed at the house of a woman named Rahab. Rahab had heard about God and believed in him. She wanted to help his people. When the king of Jericho was looking for the spies, she hid the men on her roof. When it was safe for the spies to leave, Rahab said, "Please be kind to my family, since I have been kind to you. When you attack Jericho, please don't kill us." So the spies promised to keep Rahab and her family safe. Rahab tied a bright red rope in her window so the Israelites would know where she lived. When the Israelites arrived, the people of Jericho hid behind the city's strong walls. God told Joshua how to conquer the city. Joshua would lead the people to march around the city 1 time every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they would march around the city 7 times, and the priests would blow their trumpets. All the people would shout, and the walls of Jericho would fall down. Then the Israelites could go into the city and take over. So Joshua commanded the people to march around the city 1 time. The priests blew the trumpets, but not one of the Israelites spoke or made a sound. Then they returned to their camp, and they did this for every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, the Israelites got up early and marched around the city 7 times. On the 7th time, when the priests blew their trumpets, Joshua said, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." So the people shouted, and the wall fell down flat. The Israelites went into the city and captured it. They kept Rahab and her family safe because she had helped the spies. Rahab and her family lived with the Israelites from then on. God was with Joshua, and everyone in the land knew of Joshua and what he had done. By faith, Rahab believed God would win the battle. When the Israelites attacked Jericho, Rahab and her family received mercy and became part of God's people. Jesus has won against sin and death. Everyone who trusts in Jesus receives mercy and becomes part of God's family forever.